Step 1 is to place the stretcher slightly above the load ramp and slide the isolette onto the loading ramp. The isolette should be slid onto the loading ramp and locked into place on the clip deck. There should be one person on each side of the isolette with both hands on the isolette as it is being raised into the loading position. The loading ramp should be placed slightly above the inside portion of the loading ramp so that no lifting is required over the lip. Make sure that both people on the side of the isolette have two hands on the isolette at all times while the isolette is being raised. Once the isolette is on the interior portion of the loading ramp, all movement should stop. Second team member should be inside the aircraft with one team member on each side of the isolette as you guide the isolette into its locking position. This team member on the side should be holding that isolette firmly against the guide rail next to the wall so that the isolette stays centered on the Spectrum base. As you slide it and lock it into position, the rear foot approaches the Spectrum base. A slight lift is required of approximately 1/8 of an inch to get the entire isolette sled onto the Spectrum base. The unloading procedure should be a slow process with both team members starting inside. No lifting should be required to slide the isolette onto the interior portion of the load ramp. The pilot should be outside the aircraft guiding the isolette base onto the loading ramp. The second team member now moves outside to help guide the isolette onto the loading ramp and lock it in place. As the isolette is lowered to stretcher height, both outside team members should have hands on the isolette to stabilize it as it lowers into position. Again, it should be positioned just above the stretcher height so that no lifting is required as you slide the isolette onto the clip deck on the ambulance stretcher. The key to this entire process is slow, methodical movements with good communication amongst all three team members.